If I go to my effects panel with Shift 7, I can then press Shift F to search for the crop effect. I can then drag the crop effect to my clip, and then I can simply crop from any of the 4 directions, left, top, right, bottom. I'm gonna do both the left and the right here. And then also you can go down to this other effect to feather the edges. As you can see here, you can even go negative. So it kind of has that interesting kind of effect. And then if you wanna set any keyframes, you can click the watch to set a keyframe and then go to another part of your clip and simply change the settings you want. And as you can see, and that is one of the 5 effects I'll be covering in this video. That was the first one, the crop effect. My next favorite effect I like to use is the transform effect. Again, I'm gonna press Shift 7. I'm gonna press Shift F. I use this so often. I'm gonna type in transform, and this is just to save from clicking. And again, need to make sure to spell transform here. I have some presets here, but it's under distort. So I'm gonna grab the transform effect, and I'm gonna put it on this new clip, which is a green screen. And so with this green screen here, I'm gonna click my explosion clip. I'm gonna see I have transform here. And what I want to do is I want to add some motion blur. And so that's why the transform effect is so awesome. So to do motion blur, I can unclick use composition shutter angle. I can go to the beginning of the clip right here, and I can simply put a keyframe on the position here, and I'm gonna use the X here, and I'm gonna drag it all the way out here. So I'm gonna drag it all the way to the left. Then I'm gonna press Shift right to go forward 5 frames. You can press just the right key without Shift to go forward 1 frame. But I'm gonna go 10 frames here, and then I'm going to click the reset button so it's at the center. And again, you can drag it manually with the coordinates you want. And now I'm gonna go all the way to about the end of my clip here. I'm going to press the diamond icon here to set a keyframe of the same thing so it's not moving all the time. And then I'm gonna move it to the right here, and we're gonna do that. And now we're gonna watch my clip here. There's one thing I forgot to do, but if we watch this, we don't get any motion blur, and that is because we forgot to do one thing, and that's I need to make sure my clip is selected. I need to set the shutter angle to 180 or 360. So there you go, we've got some motion blur. And again, if you go frame by frame, you can also see the motion blur right there. So that's pretty cool. And then another effect I like to do is wave warp. One thing I'm gonna do here is I'm going to grab some text with the text tool, and I'm gonna say, like the video, like my shirt says. And I always like to set the text to Gotham, go to the central graphics here, and that's my favorite kind of text I like to use in videos, Gotham. A lot of people use the MrBeast text. I forgot what that's called. So I'm gonna have like the video here, and now we're gonna use another effect. I'm gonna press Shift 7, Shift F, and I'm gonna search for wave warp. And I have a preset, but there's a lot of wave presets here that come with Premiere, but I want to make sure I find the wave warp preset, and I don't see it, so I'm going to finish wave warp here, and it's under distort. And so now, by default, the text looks like this. Now I think that makes it look a little bit hard to read, so what I like to do is set the wave height to a very low number. I like to set it to probably like 1 or 2, and then you can set the wave width to kind of a medium distance, so now it looks like this. Not enough, so we're gonna set the wave height to a little bit higher. It depends on how big your image is, so we're gonna set it to 4 there, so it doesn't distort it too much and you can still read it. And again, if you want to add keyframes to mess with all the other settings, like the direction, the wave speed, which I'll show you that. So now the speed is a lot higher, and you can also phase it. The phase change how the waves work and at what peak they are at. So now the waves are a lot slower. Okay, so that is wave warp. And another thing I like to do is also drop shadow. Again, Shift 7, Shift F for drop shadow. So much easier for me to find these effects. I'm gonna put drop shadow on this. Now, drop shadow you can mess with a lot. What I like to do, again, to give my effects some life is I'm gonna put the opacity on 100 here in drop shadow just so we can see it. I'm also gonna change the color to something very obvious like red here so we can see it. And so now you can see some of it. And I'm also going to make the distance a lot bigger here, and I'll set the softness. I'm gonna make it a little bit softer here. But what you can do, and what sometimes I like to do, is just to make it very obvious that we're having some fun here, make things stick out. I'm gonna put a timestamp, a keyframe on the direction here, and I'm gonna go all the way to my end of the clip, and I'm going to basically rotate the direction a few times. So like this. So again, maybe a little bit too grandiose. I'm just making it for the tutorial of this video. I think you'd want to make the distance smaller, but I just want to make sure you guys can see it. Now, something I want to point out here is anytime you're working with rotation, anytime you're working with coordinates here, it says 3 times 280.1. So that 3 refers to the number of full rotations. So 360s basically. So instead of saying, 120 for, I think that's 2.5 turns or something, or 900 is 2.5 turns, I believe. It says, 2 times 180. So if you ever want to go change your coordinates, you can just do 10 times 0. And so that means 10 full rotations. So now when I play this clip, it's going to go a lot faster because I have a keyframe here, and it's going to slow down. So it slowed down a little bit later, but not too much. So it actually just started going backwards because it started going from 10 right here to all the way down to 3. So it actually started rotating backwards. So just want to make sure you guys know that. So if you just want to have 1 full turn in the direction tab, you can just put 1. If you want 2 full turns, you can do 2. So that's a tip there. Then also, the reason I have this explosion here without any sound effects is green screening. Green screening is really awesome. And again, you don't have to have a literal green screen. You can just have a white sheet. You can have a black sheet. You just need something that has a distinct background. Green is often used in the profession. But if I go to my effects tab, again, Shift 7, Shift F, it's a meme at this point. I can then go here. Why is it working on my computer? Okay, so Shift F, and I go to Ultra Key. That's the effect for green screen, Ultra Key, and I put it on my green screen clip. You want to then scroll down to the Ultra Key, and you want to take the eyedropper, and you want to select the green color. And now you have a green screen effect. So now my explosion looks like, it's coming, in the video. It's natural. So that's the awesomeness of green screen. And again, if you see any green screen clips on YouTube, you can download them and see what happens. Thanks so much for guys for watching. Like and subscribe. You're the best.